you had a very successful corporate career. What developed your interest in entrepreneurship?
Like most folks, it really wasn't my desire to leave corporate and become an entrepreneur was not necessarily 100% voluntary. It was it was I had an awakening. And the awakening was sitting in a conference room, in a boardroom, really, with our C-level officers at the end of a product review. I was working for Network Associates at the time. CEO, COO, CFO, my business unit executive vice president, my engineering VP, and myself. Uh, my boss at the time, I was the director, product manager, and we got into a discussion about all of them, what they were doing, and um, it was an article that had hit the paper that was talking about our executives that sold a bunch of stock. And I mean, it was a ton of stock relative to what I had. And when we got into the conversation, I said it was a good problem to have. And they turned to me and said, but you're doing all right, right? And that the light bulb went off in my head. They were cashing in that year, that month, more stock than I had after working for the company for 4.5 or 4 years. Um, at that time, it was probably 3.5 years, but so that light bulb went up my head and I never forgot it. It was like, oh, this is, they got a mindset here that, you know, you're all right. We don't need to do nothing else for you. You okay. We compensate you well enough. And I quickly understood that they were never going to let me get to where I felt I wanted to go. And so I was like, okay, I need to get out of here at some point. So that
And
was
were
one.
capable of going.
Yeah. And so, and I was like, you know what, I had hung out, travel all over the world with these folks. And I was working, I was traveling a lot. I was sacrificing time. I didn't have kids, but I recently got married. And I was like, man. And so then we they decided they were going to, after buying a bunch of technology, they were going to sell off some technology. And so we were doing a lot of merger and acquisition work, and I was on one of the teams, help selling and packaging some of our business units. And one of them I worked in a security thing, but I had told my boss I wasn't interested in leaving the company, and the companies that were looking to buy the technology, I wasn't interested in leaving
Mm-hmm.
the company I was with to go to one of them. And so everybody's like, oh, okay, no problem. When the time come, we'll move you to another business unit, whatever you got. Um, then one day I saw a report. I saw a presentation that probably it was supposed to be in draft form, but the math didn't add up to me. We were doing headcount on number of people that were transitioning over to the new company because we were setting up the data room. When you're doing merger and acquisition, you have to set up a data room with all these binders, and the company that or companies that are looking to acquire technology or business unit or company from you, they come in the data room and their experts go through, like, there's a finance man, there's an operation there, engineering, whatever, right? And this banner had, I was doing the math. I was like, hold up. I was counting the people that were supposed to go, and there was one more person at the director of product management level than was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I started asking a question. But before I start asking question, I started looking at some of the reports that were there. I was like, okay. So now I know that they are playing off, because I was wondering why the owners of the company wanted to meet with me, and I'm meeting with them and I'm talking to them about the person that the people on my team that are going over that with that technology, right? And the person that was interviewing me, first of all, I could never work for them because I could run circles around them. I just didn't think they knew what they were doing. Um, and so he was, he was pretty transparent enough to tell me that he wanted me to come work with him. I was like, not doing it, dude. I got too much at stake, you know. I got X number of stock options that are about to vest. I'm staying till I get that next round. And then we just went through it, and next thing you know, I confronted uh, my direct report that I reported to, and she tried to play the corporate game of oh, didn't you know? No. I was like, no, no, that's not the plan. And so I had enough relationships in the company to talk to other business units, and I had a very good reputation throughout the company, and was basically told, yeah, you got a job over here if you want to come over here. It's like, cool. I was like, okay, well, we'll finish this thing. I'm good. So I let my manager know. Then I start seeing, um, yeah, you have the opportunity, but things were being blocked.
Mm-hmm.
So they started blocked. So I ended up, uh, leaving the company.
Mm-hmm. That's when the writing's on the wall.
Oh yeah, I left the company, but I went after them, and let's just say we ended on a good note, and parted ways and started my own company.